That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
Oh, no tears, please. It's a waste of good suffering.
Fairly alarmed here.
Welcome back to MOTN Reviews. This is Masters of the Nerdiverse Reviews, where we take a long gander at some of pop culture's cinematic supernovas and some that are not so brightly lit. This fortune cookie of a podcast can be found on iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, SoundCloud, YouTube, iHeartRadio, Google Play, and of course, Spotify. I'm of course your host, Mike G. And back with us is the man, the myth, the legend. I've actually seen him summon ruins over his head. It was kind of nutty. Austin Ozzy. How you doing, Austin, man?
Da 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 da. I feel bad.
Can you taste the future, my man?
Yeah, taste that future like it tastes. Like how Mogwais taste junk food before midnight.
They better not.
Like my skin cracks open and my skeleton pops out, going.
Then it goes back in.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it just wants to feel the heat of the sun for a little bit.
It's honestly the weirdest boner I've ever had.
Yeah, man, that's the boner that breaks through the skin. Like,
exactly.
It cannot be contained by man.
I got the man bones in me.
I got the bones in me.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, well, I'm doing pretty okay. Like, I was a little ill the other day. Little bad. Kind of terrible, actually, but I'm doing better. Just drinking water. And like I said earlier, just appreciating the concept of water itself.
Agua de la Vita, my man.
In Ireland, Aqua di Vitae is just whiskey.
Makes sense. Makes sense for that whole that their culture would be balanced around Aqua di Vitae.
Sláinte.
Sláinte. Man,
it's really fascinating when you hear Irish people and Scottish people argue back and forth repeatedly over who came up with the concept of it all first.
Well, you know, it's the chicken or the egg, right?
Yeah, but it also helps that it was definitely like some kind of monk or clergyman somewhere in a monastery said, screw it, I'm going to make whiskey. And that's how it happened.
The origins of what we use on a daily basis fascinate me. Like, I'll fall down a rabbit hole and be like, who invented the siren? And then I just go back and like, oh, snap, that's fascinating. Like, my favorite one is the guy who invented LSD, but that's a completely different podcast. The scientist who invented LSD.
Isn't it like, it reminds me of the Pineapple Express opening scene, is a bunch of government people in black and white, literally black and white scenery, just discussing how a man feels after doing some pot. And they just go, illegal,
and it's just the giant band just hits the screen. Yeah,
hey, it's like the government was racist as all hell back in the 20s and 30s.
Racist, and they wanted all the money. So it's things that cannot.
Black Tulsa riots.
Oh, jeez. What's Black Wall Street? Anyway, we're getting far from the point. It's Christmas time.
Oh yeah, let's get to Asian stereotypes instead.
Oh, jeez, let's just swap them out. You know,
we're going to talk about Gremlins today.
You want Taco Bell or you want Panda Express? Jeez Louise.
I will never touch Panda Express in my life ever again. That's the first time I ever had food poisoning was Panda Express.
Mine was Yoshinoya, good man. Do you know what a Yoshinoya is?
That sounds like a knockoff brand.
Yeah, it was knockoff, all right. I'm still fighting Yoshinoya issues. Anyway,
man, I puked so hard I popped a blood vessel in my eyeball.
Nice. That's when you know you're next level. You should have become a supervillain after that.
Yeah, I could have been called just Pink Eye Man.
Vomitor.
Oh, Christ. Anyway.
It's Christmas time around this Nerdiverse. It's the end of the year. And we here at Masters of the Nerdiverse love doing unconventional Christmas movies. Last year we did Die Hard, I think, was it? And this year, me and Austin decided, let's just take a second to remember this cult classic that sparked the imaginations of children back in 1984, yours truly's birth year, Gremlins, directed by Joe Dante.
Also known as how Gizmo was the precursor to Baby Yoda puppetry.
Yeah, man, the proto Baby Yoda is what we're calling him, man.
Proto Yoda.
Proto Yoda. Because if you look at Gremlins, you look at a Mogwai, it's just a Yoda. Dog.
Yeah,
it's just a furry Yoda.
It really is. They make the same sounds even.
They even make the same damn sounds. It's just the difference between a non-feathered dinosaur and a feathered dinosaur.
I don't know. A dinosaur with feathers kind of scares me more than just a lizard dinosaur.
I don't know. You know why? Because I'm starting to look at birds differently. Like, some birds just look like dinosaurs and shit.
You ever seen a bird of prey's talons, like an owl or a hawk?
It's terrifying.
Exactly.
And how they move and stuff, I don't like it. Not a fan. Not a fan.
So this movie, man, I always loved watching this movie because, yeah, it does take place at Christmas, but you never really just think about it, like how Home Alone takes place at Christmas, or other movies like Die Hard take place at Christmas. You never really think about it because it's like a backdrop kind of story.
Yeah, it's like Lethal Weapon. You know what I mean? Like, you don't think that the original Lethal Weapon takes place during Christmas. You know what I mean? It's weird. Yeah, it's a weird backdrop.
Or like how Deadpool takes place on Valentine's Day.
Right. It's one of the first Valentine's Day movies. Like Iron Man 3 is a Christmas movie.
Oh, God, you're right. Iron Man 3 is a Christmas movie.
It's so weird. So
man, Jesus, that movie is weird.
That movie is weird. There's giant weird bunnies. But yeah, Gremlins is one of those movies, like you said, like Christmas is never focused on. Really, it's just kind of the periphery of the story, but it takes place in winter in upstate New York, and wackiness ensues. The general one-sentence synopsis for this film is: a boy inadvertently breaks 3 important rules concerning his new pet and unleashes a horde of malevolent, mischievous monsters on a small town.
It's always like the rule of 3 is like always leads to most deadly results, and in this movie, it's don't let it get wet.
Nope.
Don't feed it after midnight.
Nope.
And don't let it out in the sun.
Don't let it out in the sun. And if you think about it, those are the 3 nuttiest rules you could possibly think of with anything with a heartbeat.
It's like having a neck beard for a child.
Milady.
Don't let it get wet because it's going to smell.
It's just going to smell up the place.
Don't let it eat after midnight because it's just going to make a mess. And don't let it out in the sun or else
it's just going to burn up and die.
Yeah, it's going to combust.
Jesus. And after watching this movie, I forgot. It's like, yeah, don't give it water. Don't let it drink liquids. Like, it's that bad. Like,
I do like, though, how in this movie, like, Gizmo, the most polite creature, gets what instantly just spawns Satan. Like, it's clones, essentially. It's children? It's clones? It's hard to say.
It's weird. It's almost like the sins of the father kind of situation, where it's like the moment you introduce this thing to anything it's not supposed to have, calamity ensues. It almost reminds me of the story of Adam and Eve in the Tree of Knowledge. You know what I mean? Where it's this pure, innocent thing that wouldn't hurt a fly, but the second you give it something it's not supposed to have, it automatically causes untold horror. You know what I mean? The second you do it, it's like there's no wait around. There's no 1 or 2 hours like a zombie bite. No, if Gizmo gets wet, it automatically starts to multiply, and that's insane.
The weirdest thing to me though is, did you ever see the sequel?
That's the one thing I want to talk about. It's like, as a kid, I didn't watch Gremlins a lot. I watched Gremlins 2, the new batch, a ton. That's the Gremlins movie that I know and love, and I've seen maybe 1,000 times. I've only seen Gremlins 1 maybe like 5 times in my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. But Gremlins, the sequel, is weirder than the first.
Yes, because
it introduces new rules. Like whenever the Gremlins morph into like the scaly Gremlins, not the furry ones, they give birth to like a weirder, worser version of birth to like multiple scaly Gremlins. But it's like, wait, so how do like the furry ones exist? Do they just exist just cause? Like, do you have to have like hundreds and hundreds of generations of just furries? Because the scalies just regenerate. Sorry, they repopulate just from each other. There's no morphosis. It's like, what the fuck's going on here? What are the rules?
I think the rules apply to both the scaly and the furry. It's just that the scalies have a different method of reproduction.
Oh boy.
Because the furries just bounce out like tennis balls. They just fly up all over the place. Where the scalies have like egg sacs and they pop out their backs like, you know, those weird fucked up toads.
Oh yeah,
That have like the spores on their backs with all their babies.
That's the
Tryptophobia I don't want. Ugh. I don't like many sockets, Doug. It's not cool.
And honestly, this movie is so weird. It's PG-13, right?
Yep.
It's so weird what they get away with, honestly. Just random bits and pieces here and there. Oh my god, this movie is so weird for me because there's so many odd scenes that stick out to me. Just whenever, let's say, Phoebe, the main love interest for Billy, the main character, when the Gremlins take over the town, they invade her bar, and she's just doing her job and serving these little Gremlins drinks. And it's just like, no. If you see this weird life form walk into your bar, this small midtown girl is going to freak out and leave. She's not going to stay behind and go, hey, you want a Cosmopolitan? I can make that for you.
That's what I love about Jill Dante, is that he's inherently goofy. You know what I mean? He's a goofy dude.
Oh my god, he is.
And that's why this movie is so weird, is because he's a horror kid. He's a monster kid, right? But he's also, it seems like he gets inspiration from like the old Tex Avery Warner Brothers cartoons, because this movie is very wacky. And that's why it like you said, there's some moments that are pure horror. You know what I mean? like the gremlin in the microwave. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah.
Not for children. But there's moments, like you said, we're in the movie theater, and they're like setting up the projector, and they're just eating popcorn. How'd they get popcorn? Damn it! You're feeding them after midnight. You know?
Yeah. Like, so wait. So like, whenever they transform, does the midnight rule not apply to them anymore? Like, what? What's going on here?
And that's why I like the sequel, because they point out a lot of those problems of the 3 rules and how they don't apply in real life.
Why? How does this blind Chinese man with claw for hands? Why is he the one taking care of this little gizmo?
Because I don't think he's human. I think he's like a Chinese myth dragon that's just in the vessel of a man. Because he's at the bookends of the movie. The movie opens with Ronald Peltzer, who's like buddy to our main character, who's an inventor.
Yeah.
And he goes to the China store in the China shop in Chinatown, New York, and he's looking for something to get his kid or something like that. And he ends up hearing the song of the Mogwai, that weird.
It's singing. I forgot about that.
Yeah, that's how they lure you in. They're like sirens. And he sees this cute little whatever it is. I think the Mogwai is one of the most interesting character designs in film history. It's almost marketing 101. You know what I mean? What's the most adorable thing you can create?
It's very, very odd. And just the way people just get killed or kill these gremlins. Electrocution, baseball bats running them over, microwaves.
They're not human, man. So you have free reign to just splatter these things.
I can't tell if this is a creature feature or just a empowerment movie where everybody is not afraid. They're just out to kill these things for stress relief at this point, because it's so zany.
Well, you know, it's like population control. You know, there's certain states where it's like, boar just get out of control in this particular province. It's boar season. You know what I mean? I'm sure if you were head to head with a boar, it would be kind of terrifying. But it's not scary anymore when you have like a double-barreled shotgun. Scoop, you know?
No, that's very true. I know. I'm in a hunting. I'm in a hunting family, so yeah, I get that.
You know what I'm saying? So after a while, after the initial fear is off, and you know, humanization desensitizes things. So if you see a mountain lion, you're like, oh crap, I'm going to die. But if you see a mountain lion making a coffee, you know what I mean? Or like watching TV, it kind of desensitizes that fear. So they're seeing these gremlins do all types of human-like stuff, and they're like, I could just shoot that. It's fine. It'll just explode and another one will pop up.
So are you saying if you put a Hollywood movie character like Bert from Tremors into this movie, he would just have a field day?
I want there to be some kind of weird, goofy cinematic universe where Bert and Reba McEntire just show up in like their super van with like elephant guns and stuff and just start mowing these things down, because it doesn't matter, because there's just so many of them.
Oh my god, it doesn't. This movie doesn't matter as a whole.
I love
That's the weirdest thing.
I love Gremlins because it doesn't fit anywhere. That's why it never became popular. It never blew up.
How did it get a sequel then?
I don't know, man. Like, I don't know how. I was thinking about this. Like, why is it Tremors? I'm sorry, geez, Tremors. Why does Tremors have 7 sequels, but Gremlins only has 2? Is it a licensing thing? Is someone just holding onto the rights?
People actually like Tremors because Tremors are scary.
But Gremlins has everything going for it. It has the cute side thing where Mogwais could just sell. If you market it Mogwais correctly, that could be the new Furby, man. It was the Furby. But then if you want the cool like goth kids or cool like horror kids, you have the Gremlins, which are these little trolls that are floating around.
I mean, okay, so one thing that does stick out for me for this movie, like the stupidest thing about this movie, and it's not related to the Gremlins, it's Phoebe. And why she hates Christmas. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, her origin of her Christmas story. It has so many holes in it. It's out of control.
Her dad crawled down the chimney like Santa Claus, got stuck, and was it burned to death or just suffocated?
I think they lit the fire, the Yule log, and he was still in there. They couldn't hear him. And he cooked to death, and he fell down the chimney once his flesh kind of shrunk down.
I think it's actually he suffocated from the smoke. But the thing is like that's the stupidest reason, and I don't think it's even solicited. I think someone asks, "Hey, why do you hate Christmas so much?"
Yeah,
and she turns her back and monologues at the camera why she hates Christmas, and it's like, what is this high school hockey acting? I'm in part 2 now.
It's kind of the worst. And then she's like, yeah, that's how I found out Christmas. That's how I found out Santa Claus wasn't real.
Oh my god.
My dad suffocating in the chimney.
Oh my god.
And our main character is like, what? Why would you never told me this ever?
Just what? Why?
Why is this a thing?
Oh, good God.
Let's talk about our characters for a second. Billy Peltzer, who plays Zach Galligan, who's just this quintessential kind of goofball in a weird way.
He's an 80s movie character. He's got the weird, goofy bowl haircut.
Yeah,
he's kind of a skater-looking guy, but not at the same time.
He's a kid at heart. You know what I mean? Yeah. He doesn't ever do anything right. He's the type of guy who goes into an interview with spinach in his teeth. You know what I'm saying? He's that kind of dude. Yeah. And this whole movie is just kind of him learning responsibility. I think that's what the crux of this whole movie's about. It's just learning responsibility for your own actions.
Is it though?
And this gremlin, this Mogwai, is the ultimate test of responsibility. Because it's like you can't treat it like anything that actually lives. You have to completely change your thought process on how to take care of something. You know what I mean? He's like, it's just such a weird juxtaposition, like, of him and Phoebe Cates trying to, contain this problem that just keeps exponentially getting more and more out of control.
It definitely gets out of control. I think this movie is a very, very good example of why you should have birth control, honestly.
You think this is just a metaphor for birth control?
It's a metaphor for don't be a teenage dad. You're going to have a baby. It's going to wake you up in the middle of the night. It wants to eat. It wants to just pee everywhere.
Don't feed it after midnight.
It wants to yeah, exactly. Don't feed it after midnight or else you're going to have a problem in your hands.
Don't get it wet.
It's messy. It's out of control. There's going to be more before you think about it. Just don't have kids early on because kids are basically just gremlins, but for 10 years.
No, man. And you'll blink twice and another one will just be right there. This is not This is not a PSA to not have children. I don't know. I could see it coming from there too, honestly. They're super cute and cuddly until they're around for too long, and next thing you know, they're ripping over bags and going into stuff, and you gotta gremlin proof the house.
Exactly. And then one's gonna grow up to be a psycho like Stripe and try to kill you in your sleep.
Stripe is the coolest, first of all. Stripe is awesome. Stripe actually scared me because I want to say the like you mentioned earlier, the puppetry and the animatronics of these gremlins.
It's pretty good.
It's top notch. It's the best it could have been in 1984. You know what I mean? Like Gremlins.
Yeah, no, it really is.
Because Gremlins are legit scary to a kid, man. Like a gremlin could be scary. It's kind of like the Freddy Krueger syndrome, where Freddy, when Nightmare on Elm Street launched with Wes Craven, Freddy was legit terrifying. But he starts wearing shades and starts saying "Bon appetit, bitch" and shit. And he just starts to dull that down. Where in this movie, the dull down is almost throughout the entire film. By the time this film ends, you're completely desensitized to Gremlins. But when they first start popping up, they're creepy little things, man.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
You know what I mean?
Jesus Christ. This movie reminds me a lot of Child's Play as well.
Really? In what way? That's interesting.
It's just like this innocent little kids thing becomes so terrifying.
Yeah.
Not in the same way, but the body count from the Gremlins is higher than Chucky's in the end.
The thing about this movie is that it's half a horror film. So it's almost like The Blob in its body count. Like, don't get it twisted. Like, Gremlins are killing people all over this small little sleepy mountain town or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
and they're dying in horrifying ways. There's car crashes, there's explosions. Everyone in that theater, everyone in the Y, just dead, man. They're all dead.
Yeah, they really are.
And the Gremlins are just wanton violence, man.
Oh, but I mean, it's so odd that it could have been like a really cool little black comedy, essentially. But freaking Gremlins 2 was straight up just a weird comedy, honestly.
Gremlins 2 leaned more into the comedy than Gremlins did it. I was actually, before we started recording, I was like, man, these two movies are like Terminator 1 and 2.
They're different.
They're different, but it's the same. Like Gremlins has a different message than Gremlins 2 had, just like Terminator had a different message than Terminator 2 had. Or Gremlins was like, yeah, there's goofy stuff, like, you know, the scene where the Gremlins like cause that lady in the wheelchair to just fly out a plate glass window or something like that. You know
yeah. And Gremlins 2 had the weirder bits of, oh, let's just make more personality Gremlins, which is, that's fine.
Yeah, let's put them in like nice little nice little costumes and give them weird little things they do, you know.
And then there's going to be technology that's going to make one Gremlin talk like human. That's going to be one Gremlin's going to become a spider Gremlin. One Gremlin's going to become a sexy female.
One Gremlin just becomes Electro.
Yeah, that too.
You know, so like I super love like Gremlins 2. That's the best.
The new batch.
The new batch.
The new batch. It's
amazing. It's amazing.
Didn't like the female goblin like rape the big bad boss guy at the end?
Yeah, she got him, Doug. She got him. There's a scene where the bad gremlin flies through like a concrete wall.
Oh, he becomes a gargoyle.
Yeah, he just makes the bat signal from Batman. It's awesome, dude. I love that movie.
I forgot about that.
Hulk Hogan beats up the Gremlins, Doug. It's the best, dude.
Oh, Jesus,
awesome. But Gremlins in itself is just Christmas horror, and I love Christmas horror. Christmas horror is fun. I love mixing those two feelings. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you got your warm and fuzzy, but there's a serial killer on the loose, and he's dressed like Santa Claus. You know?
Like Krampus?
Yeah, like Krampus, you know, like Silent Night, Deadly Night, man. Like Christmas horror, man.
Yeah, Christmas horror is not really an often thing, but that's like the first example I ever got of that was from Gremlins, honestly. So what can you do?
Exactly. You know what I mean? And then Gremlins is just, it holds a special, I just would love a Gremlins like revival, even though they would ruin it and make it CG and make it horrible. But give Gremlins, and it's kind of a cop out, but just give Gremlins to Guillermo del Toro and just see what he does with it. Just give it to him.
He would have fun.
And let him just do stuff with it. Like, I would love to see a Guillermo del Toro directed and kind of spearheaded Gremlins reboot. If anything needs a reboot, it's Gremlins. You know what I mean? Set it at modern times. You can still have that old dude at but he runs a .com now. It's like ChinaStore.com. You know?
Oh yeah, no, I get that.
You know what I mean? Update it. One thing I love about this movie also is that it has a Montgomery Ward. You remember Montgomery Ward? The department store. It used to be like JCPenney's and like Robinson's May.
I've never stepped foot inside of one.
Oh man, that makes me feel old. Anywho, but yeah, I just want to shout outs to Montgomery Ward and how live it was back in the day. Yeah, and the thing with the Gremlins is that they weren't necessarily very malevolent. They were just like you said, going back to the kids metaphor, they were just very, very bad children. Everything they did was just goofy and sadistic, but there was like a childish glee to it. They were having a good time all the time. The scene in the bar, they were playing darts with Gizmo hung up, torturing Gizmo. That's a theme throughout this whole series.
Yeah, why do they hate Gizmo so much?
They hate their sins of the father, man. They hate their dad.
I don't.
They hate their dad, dude. They torture their father, man.
Why. He's just like, hey, it's Gizmo.
Let's bother him, right? Like he's weaker, you know. He's not the alpha. So every movie they put Gizmo through the ringer. You know what I mean? You know.
Oh, and then Gizmo becomes like a war-torn PTSD veteran, becomes Rambo in the second one.
Yeah, in the second movie, he becomes Rambo, and he becomes the big boss, and he starts taking him out with like a paperclip, like bow and arrow, dude. It's the realest.
That is the weirdest moment for me out of the entire series, and there's a lot of weird moments. It's just seeing Rambo as a gremlin.
So real.
It's so bizarre.
You know how much money I would pay if like Sideshow Toys made like a stand of Rambo Gizmo with the headband like Ryu, dog?
Oh god.
All the money, dog. I guess I don't have a car anymore. I just gotta trade that in.
Then again, I'm also looking at those Japanese swordsman era Star Wars figures. Those ones.
With Boba Fett one? I want the Boba Fett one so bad. The Stormtrooper one is sick though.
There's several Stormtrooper ones.
Yeah, man,
There's like one with like a cannon, one with just a drum, others with swords and shields and spears.
That's an expensive hobby, man. Each one of them are like $500, but they're the best toy you could possibly buy.
You can go to Barnes & Noble and get them for like $30 to $50, I think.
The Sideshow ones.
Oh, it's like yeah, never mind.
Yeah, the ones with leather.
The one I'm thinking of is Tamashii Nation, I think.
Oh, the Tamashii Nations, those are good too. I have a Tamashii Nation Piccolo. Yeah, they're like $40 to $50, maybe. They're not that bad. I'm talking about like the dolls, like the Sideshow, like Darth Vader. That's like $700. And it's made with real leather, and it has metal in it and stuff. Like it's stupid.
Yeah. Do you know they already have one for Diablo 3? Sorry. 4? Diablo 4's Lilith character from the trailer they had at BlizzCon.
I believe it. You got to get that marketing out, man.
Yeah, it's like 2 feet tall.
It's probably like $1,500.
I'm looking up online right now. It's $500.
Oh, that's still a lot, man.
Jesus Christ! A pedestal display they sell is $270.
Like I said, it's gonna cost you a stack, dog.
Ooh, the Hulkbuster Deluxe Edition. Oh my god, that thing is huge. Holy crap! It's $1,100. Okay,
and we're backing down. The back down is real when it comes. Speaking of toys,
yeah. Okay, I could see like a Gizmo being a price for about, I'd say $300 at that point.
I would super want a Gizmo doll. Gizmo rules. I don't care.
I mean, like you said earlier, just go get a Furby. You got a Gizmo right then and there.
Oh, jeez, Louise, just get a Baby Yoda, dog.
It kind of reminds me. Have you ever had like your own personal Christmas horror story?
Yeah. This whole movie's a Christmas. Yeah, my personal Christmas horror story. Jeez, was the Christmas that my dog, because we had a yard dog that never supposed to be in the house. You ever know those kind of dogs?
Yeah.
You know, like the yard dog, and we had like a in-house cat. And the yard dog. And that yard dog would be an in-between dog, but the cat hated the dog. So whenever they intertwined, it was like on site every single time. So my beautiful dog, Athena, she was so awesome, somehow got into the house during the Christmas party, and her and the cat ran through the living room, tore up boxes, knocked over Christmas trees, and pretty much ruined Christmas for the entire house, which wasn't any of their fault. They were just volatile. It's like the Capulets and the Montagues, those two. So yeah, we had to go out, and we pretty much just said, all right, we're just going to try to rewrap these. Some toys were broke. The Christmas tree was demolished because it was a real tree. And after that year, we started buying fake trees that we could just put in we could just put in a closet somewhere.
Oh yeah, fake trees are the way to go.
Okay, listeners, get yourself a fake tree. You will not regret it.
Fake it till you make it.
Fake it till you make it. You'd have to clean up any pine. Any any pine needles. You don't have to get rid of the thing. You don't have to go and drag it into the house. It saves a lot, and you're saving a tree. One less tree to be cut down.
Save yourself a lot of trouble and effort. Just use the pine. Just make some woodworking out of it, like I do.
Yeah, build a house like Austin did.
No, I did not do that.
Austin walked into the forest and just made a house with what was around him.
I bit down a tree at the roots and started like dragging it out like a freaking beaver. That's what I did.
He hollowed out a redwood and just built a condo in there. super dope. It gets Wi-Fi.
That's exactly what I did. I built Wi-Fi out of wood.
Yeah, man. He ran that Google Fiber wire from the highway all the way to his tree.
God, I wish the freaking telecommunications companies, my city, would finally stop trying to kill each other and let fiber be a thing.
Nah, man. That's a conceit, dog.
Oh yeah, I know it is. Oligarchies. That's what it is.
That's all it is, man. Anyway,
my own personal Chris's horror story.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I think the worst is probably whenever I was severely disappointed as a child of getting the wrong present.
Yeah.
What was it? I asked for like a Digimon toy, and instead I got some kind of weird knockoff toy that wasn't even Digimon.
Yeah, those are fun.
Like, I don't even know what it was. It was some kind of weird thing. And I opened it up, and as I was trying to figure out how to work it, it like snapped down and like pinched my skin enough hard to draw blood.
Oh Jesus, yeah. That thing rubbed you the wrong way.
Yeah, it really did, and I hated it. And I just like absolutely hated it because that was the one gift I wanted for Christmas was a Digimon toy.
Oh,
and
geez.
I didn't get it, and I got a toy that tried to kill me.
It tried to eat you. It literally tried to draw blood like the lament configuration.
You really reference that way too often.
I have one person that has made me make a blood oath that I cannot review Hellraiser until they're ready.
Oh, that's good.
And all I've been wanting to do is review Hellraiser on this channel because it's literally my favorite movie of all time. But I have to wait for their dumbass because they made me go into a blood pack. The lore of surprise. But that's in the future.
My favorite movie is Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, followed closely by Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. So,
you know what Lord of the Rings and Gremlins have in common? If you get Shire folk wet, they just turn into gremlins.
That's how Smeagol came to be. He got really wet.
Smeagol came to be. He got real wet. He was at the lake fishing, and he fell in.
Oh my God, Smeagol and the Gremlins look very similar. To be fair,
and they both operate on the same thing. They want to eat, and they just want to have a good time, and they want what they want. They're very driven creatures.
I don't doubt that Gremlins probably have like a 4-year life expectancy at max, honestly.
Nah, they're probably like Resident Evil zombies where they last like 30 years off no food or no water or something stupid.
God, I hate that.
That's the worst part about Resident we're getting way off track, but that's the worst, that's the worst part about the Resident Evil movies. They're like, yeah, the zombies don't necessarily need food or water. They could just walk around for like 20, 30 years. What? How does that make any sense? So yeah, Gremlins probably can just survive off photosynthesis, or
exactly,
be okay because it's never really determined how old.
Can they photosynthesize and they burn in the sun though?
Well, it's like a reverse synthesis. They have like some kind of night synthesis or something
noctosynthesis.
Noctosynthesis.
There we go.
Like how old is Gizmo? Is Gizmo eternal?
Oh Jesus, I don't even know.
Like how long has that shot been there, man?
I feel like we're now in a situation where Gremlins has an entire expanded lore and history we don't know about, thanks solely to comic books or something like that.
This is a lot of questions,
because that kind of stuff happened for like Predator. It happened for the Alien franchise.
There has to be some kind of Gremlins EU that we're just not aware of because it shows that Gizmo is a learning computer, right? He watches TV and he learns stuff, which is probably why the old man had him just under a tarp all day, every day. Like, don't teach this thing nothing. You know what I mean? Just let it exist. Like, he just had it under a tarp, just in, like, not even, and it just sings all day. It's cool doing that. So it makes me think, like, how old is Gizmo? 12 months?
old enough
Well-
for this creepy Chinese man who was
12,000 years?
super stereotyped to have
Yeah.
claws for hands. So, blah.
That's like he lost his hands dealing with gremlins, though. He learned the hard way.
God, why do they always try to make like the mystic Asian have just claws for fingernails? That's so weird to me.
Because that's an old, like, racist, like, stereotype, man. Like, look at the Mandarin. You know, the Mandarin had weird claw hands. Look at Lo Pang from Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh, that's a freaking movie. To be fair, they're not even really human at that point.
Well, I mean, Lo Wang wasn't human. He was some kind of weird spiritual, you know, interdimensional specter, but he still had the super stupid long fingernails.
I only saw the movie once when I was younger, and the only scene I vividly remember is like a man getting so mad he just blew up.
Yeah, he said that's the biggest you didn't win of all time. He just no. I may sit you down to make you watch Big Trouble in Little China. I think you'll get a kick out of it.
Oh boy.
Anywho, what's your final thoughts on Gremlins, man? What do you think about this whole movie, man?
It's an endearing movie. It's a dumb movie. It's a movie you want to watch when you have a lot of eggnog on Christmas, or put as a backdrop, because it is so stupid and funny. It deserves to be where it's at.
That's a very good synopsis, man. For me, Gremlins is up there with How the Grinch Stole Christmas and Home, like you said, Home Alone, and just quintessential Christmas having to watch. Like I said, I'm more of a fan of Gremlins 2, the new batch, but, you know, I cannot not lie and say that the Gremlins isn't a quintessential Christmas movie. You know, even if it's a little warped and a little left of center, I think Joe Dante had a very clear vision on what he wanted from this franchise. And I really wish that one day we can have the Gremlins can run free and wild again, you know? And we didn't spoil a lot. It's very easy not to spoil this movie because it doesn't really have a plot.
Yeah.
You know, love it. But if you were to score this movie from 0 Mogwais to 5, how many Mogwais would you give this movie?
I would give this 3 whole mogwais and 1 cut in half because of a kitchen knife, probably.
Dang.
Because that would likely happen.
Okay.
I would call this a good 3.5. It's good. There's way more good than bad.
Yeah.
And you can just turn your brain off and enjoy it.
Okay. I was going to give it a 5 out of 5, but 5 Mogwais out of 5, but 1 crawled into the microwave and exploded. So I'm going to give it a 4 Mogwais out of 5. Like you said, it's not a perfect movie. It's not one of those, you know, timeless classics. The good definitely outweighs the bad. Some of the kills are amazing. Like I said, the puppetry and animatronics is amazing. Iconic characters. Gizmo is forever. You know what I mean?
Yes, that is very true. The animatronics and the special effects are pretty baller.
You know what I'm saying? Steven Spielberg presents all that fun stuff. It has a simplicity to it, like Jaws, like E.T. You know what I mean? There's a simpleness to it, which is why the plot isn't really insane. Like, you tell me the detailed plot of Jaws. It doesn't really have one, right? Jaws eats people, they go get the shark.
That's true. But to be fair, you could also call Jaws a holiday movie because it takes place during the 4th of July.
You don't think that would be in rotation around the 4th of July? You watch Jaws, man. I love movies wrapped around holidays that don't matter, you know?
Oh man,
awesome.
have you ever seen Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving, dude, with the turkey, with the evil turkey face.
Yeah. And the opening credit is some pilgrim lady's boobs.
It's so stupid, dude. I love it. This is why I love holidays, because I love fighting super non-traditional. Batman Returns, Christmas movie. Anyway.
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah, Batman Returns, Christmas movie. So yeah, I think Gremlins is definitely a must-watch. If you've never seen Gremlins, this movie is before your time, and you don't know what a Mogwai is, and we haven't spoiled really anything for you other than their 3 rules. I would definitely recommend going back and watching Gremlins and Gremlins 2. It's not a kids movie, so maybe no kids younger than 10 years old, I would say.
Yeah, it's got a PG-13 for a reason.
For a reason, yeah. Back then, they were still kind of feeling out what those reasons were. That's why it's so loose with it. This could be one more scene, and this would have been an R-rated film. You know what I mean?
I would still think it would
blood and
solidly
gore.
be a PG-13 movie to this day, but man, it's
a close. It's close to. It's not a hard R, but it would be a very, very, very soft R. You know what I mean?
God, it's so stupid. I love it.
I love it, man. Where can we find you?
Okay, you can find me on the internet at Austin Ozzy or Ozzy Austin. I kind of forget which one I have sometimes because
I'm still trying to nail that down, my man. I don't want to be disrespectful. I'm like, okay, which Austin?
It's because my Twitter handle is Austin Ozzy, but the display name is Ozzy Austin.
Yeah.
So it makes it really confusing and frustrating for some people.
No, that's okay. It's not frustrating. I just want to make sure I don't, I make sure I get your moniker right, man.
Oh no, I get you. It's at Austin Ozzy. That's what it is.
Austin Ozzy. Beautiful,
yeah, and that's what it should be for Twitch and whatnot, which will be on later today on a Sunday for some D&D.
For some D&D, so that we're recording another little bit, bro.
Yeah, and I got to make sure that recording gets pushed out quickly enough because I take off for honeymoon in like 3 days.
Suck it. Have a good time, man. Honeymoons are always awesome. Yeah. If you want more of this weird content, you can always visit us at our website, which is mastersofthenerdiversecast.com, where we have all of these beautiful episodes archived. So if you want to go back and listen to episodes from a year ago, we hit our 2-year this year, so happy anniversary. And you can definitely, if you want a Master of the Nerdiverse t-shirt, you can definitely go to our TeePublic page, buy yourself a nice little t-shirt, a mug. If you want to join our Patreon, you can do that as well. Help donate to the show. Give us $1. I'll use that $1 and just shove it into my PC, and it'll make the podcast sound better. Also visit us on Twitter, which is at mnerdiverse, where we interact with the podcasting community, ask questions, do polls. This is how me and Austin met. Awesome enough. And thus, the rest is history, as they say. Yeah. I've, of course, been your host, Mike Jean. I want to thank Austin for being a part of the show today.
Thanks for having me.
Always, man, always. And I will always ask you to look towards the skies. Look towards the skis.
Mama!